Hello and welcome to our webinar today. Today we're going to be talking about perfecting the pitch and knowing what tools you have available from us at HubShout. I'm Chad Hill and I'm joined by our team up in Rochester.
Hey Chad, happy to be here. We've got a ton of people in the room. Say hi everyone. Hello. And turn it back to you.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot. I wanted to start by reviewing our agenda for today. And we've got some exciting stuff that we wanted to review, and I wanted to go over first a training that we had recently went through here at HubShout. We were, I think, privileged to have someone from Google come out and run through their Trusted Digital Media Advisor training program. So I took some notes on the highlights and wanted to run through that with everyone, because I think that, you know, while it's the idea is really how to become a trusted advisor. And we thought when Google was coming to train us that it would be all about features and benefits and bells and whistles of AdWords, because it was more AdWords oriented. You know, it turns out that the reality of the training was that it was pretty much basic sales training and how to build trust, which in this business that we're all in, it's critical that we present ourselves as advisors, not as just salespeople. So I wanted to start with that, and then I wanted to run through some of the things that we've had for a while, but that sometimes people forget that we have. Came across in our recent survey that, you know, not everyone is aware of all the tools that we've put together, and so I wanted to run through our sales collateral, web grader, and talk a little bit about our proposal tool as well. So let's jump in here, and then again, feel free. Eric will be manning the chat window. Adam's not with us today, but Eric will be manning the chat window. I will be stopping periodically to see if there's any questions that people have as we go through this. So kicking off with the Trusted Digital Media Advisor training program, like I said, I'm going to run through this at a fairly accelerated pace. There are two resources that I highly recommend everyone go take a look at. I'm going to try to click on this real quick just to show this great YouTube video. But we actually had this guy, Ben Tyson, come out to the Rochester office. I think it was last month, might have been, yeah, it was the beginning of August, I believe. And he actually came out and did a multi-hour training session with our team, and I think everyone was just really excited about it. So I watched this video this morning. It's a 30-minute condensed version of the training that he gave us, and I would recommend, again, that it's very insightful. Recommend everyone take a look at it. I'm going to do my best to summarize it here in probably 10 or 12 minutes, so feel free to look at the webinar afterwards. The other one that you should also check out is there are some great resources out here on the Google Partners YouTube channel, and there's a 13-part Trusted Digital Media Advisor series that they go through. And again, depending on, I think pretty much no matter where you are in your sales skills, there's something in this that you're probably not doing as well as you'd like, and it's probably good for a refresher. And I'm going to relate some of my own experiences as we go through this webinar. Now, their Trusted Digital Media Advisor program really comes down to a 5-step process. And again, we're going to fly through these today, but it starts with a plan. Then you've got to figure out how to open up a meeting, plan for a meeting, how to open a meeting, how to identify needs, how to basically be able to make a recommendation and things. So I think, you know, in different sales trainings that a lot of us have been through, there's probably slightly different names for these things. But the key thing for Google is really early on trying to establish and build a relationship as the advisor, and I think the trusted advisor. And the difference to me is that, and I think in my own experience, you know, when you have domain expertise or subject matter expertise, it's a lot easier to come in and build that trust and then eventually get to the close than if you come across as just, you know, hawking a particular product or service. So as much as many of us on the phone today, you know, are maybe haven't spent 15 or 20 years doing internet marketing, there are lots of things we can do. There's lots of resources that we have, and of course lots of places on the web that you can go to make yourself an advisor. And again, some of the skills we're going to talk about here are ways to get there. The plan, this is interesting. You know, one of the things Google talked about was, you know, how many of us go to meetings without a plan? And I was on a call last week with another one of our resellers and an end client, and it struck me as I was thinking and preparing for this webinar that the call sort of started and we just launched into features and benefits. But when I was putting this webinar together, I was like, gosh, we didn't really have a good plan. There were people on that phone call or in that meeting, in that particular, it was a phone call, that hadn't been fully briefed on even the objectives of the meeting. And so, we're rattling off dollars and cents and features and benefits when some of these guys on the call didn't even really know that the objective of the call was to review this proposal and to even really have the framework. So Google always talks about starting off with really a benefit statement that has the client in mind, right? So the benefit of a meeting isn't to say, hey, I'm here to sell you this service. The benefit, this example here was that I wrote down, is basically that I'm here to sort of share. If you're coming in with a proposal, maybe you're here to share some analysis that you've completed and discuss the latest trends in digital marketing. Again, we're talking about SEO here. So much has changed in the last year that a lot of these guys, small business owners, never heard of Panda or Penguin or content marketing. They're used to buying 1,000 directory links, and they think that's what they should be doing. So, you as a trusted media advisor, you have the ability to come into these meetings and really educate people and share why maybe some of the things they had been doing or that aren't going to be as effective in the long run, and you go from there. And then I think the other thing is to really establish what the desired, at least what Google talks about, and I agree, is to establish a desired outcome of the meeting. Is it to, have another meeting? Is it to basically gather requirements so that we can build a proposal? Are we reviewing a proposal? So that's really important up front and to make sure everyone's on the same page. So then Google kind of goes into this open part of their plan. And essentially, again, it comes back to the agenda, starting with an agenda, and they recommend having this point approach, which is, the purpose of the meeting must benefit the client. You want to outline the topics you're going to be talking about. So, and then you want to move into gathering input, and then you want to transition into, you're really the first part of the agenda, which is typically kind of an elevator pitch, which I have below that. So, and again, the elevator pitch is interesting, and I've put one together for maybe how I would kick off a call with someone interested in HubShout. But you really want to make sure that you describe, you have it's focused, and you want to describe a typical client and then how clients typically benefit from your services. So I put together one for HubShout. I don't know if this is our best elevator pitch, but I tried to follow the Google outline. And many of you guys have talked to us early on about, and you sort of, as our clients, know why you called us. But to me, this is our focus. HubShout works with web marketing, web design companies who need a team of experts to help execute their digital marketing services. A typical client would be most of the companies that we work with are great at selling and account management, but need a team to back them up. They don't want to hire that team themselves, and so they're looking for HubShout to help them out. And then basically, the benefit is that we have resellers who have really gone from a business with $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year in revenue to $1 million businesses by working with us and establishing the partnership where we deliver the services, they focus on sales and account management. And then basically, I think from there, you want to bridge it into talking about them. So at that point, I would typically say, so tell me about your business and what you're doing. And this is critical because, again, I'm reflecting back on this phone call that I had last week where I sort of, as a Hail Mary at the end of the phone call, was like, we had gone through pretty much the whole phone call, and at the end, as a Hail Mary, I was like, hey, let's actually talk a little bit about what is your current state and your desired outcome, because you told us come to you with a proposal, but we never really asked you what was wrong, right? I mean, we're looking at your business and we see that you're doing okay here and you're doing okay there, but what's the pain point? What's going on? And where do you want to go? So really getting into this, what's the current state or the current situation, and then understanding what the desired situation is. So for a lot of the Main Street clients that you guys, so I guess we should talk about HubShout for a second. For a lot of our partners that call us, what they're looking for, take the web marketing company, or the web design company, they may have hundreds of websites that they've built over the past couple years, and clients out there that may every once in a while that are looking for SEO services, but that's not their expertise. They're good web designers, but they're not necessarily good web marketers, and they want to partner with a company that can help them deliver those services. So again, the current situation is I can't do this stuff because I don't know how to do it, and I'm way too busy with the business that's on my plate today. But I see it as a great recurring income stream, and it's something that I would like to be able to offer. And so, how can I do that without hiring a bunch of people? Because then I got to manage people, I got to make sure they stay up to speed on the latest and greatest trends on the internet, and those are all things that I'm just not sure I have the bandwidth to do. So understanding that's really important because later on when you get down to what things cost or what vendor are you going to select, because there's always choices, HubShout or whatever service, whatever the end client you're working with, there are always choices. But understanding that and understanding kind of current situation and desired situation is going to make your pitch way stronger. So then in Google's methodology, which again, trusted media advisor, they move into this kind of recommend stage. So this is, again, if you think about most phone calls, it's just like you want to just start blurting out features and benefits. But we're already like well into the Google methodology here before we're even talking about getting into recommendations. But the key thing here is we've got this, what they call the link feature bridge benefit, the LFBB. The good thing here is that because we took the time to understand the client and their needs, we can now link our benefits to one of their desired goals, or the state that they want to get to, the situation they want to get to. So I just threw in this as an example of this. But take somebody, we do a lot with Main Street business out there, and take somebody who is talking about, gosh, I'm just so busy, I don't have time to do this Facebook stuff and this blogging stuff and all these other things. And if you aren't able to link to that pain point when you're talking about your benefits, then you're losing an opportunity. So one of the things I threw in here, again, this is just my spitball, but I basically said, you mentioned that you're short on time. One of the benefits of content marketing is that you are creating assets that can be used not only on your blog, but shared via social media, email marketing, and on other websites. So it's basically, hey, look, you're going to get this kernel, this asset of content marketing, this great content, which we can then use in lots of other places. So this is a smart investment because you talked about being short on time and it being overwhelming to think about all these platforms. Here we can do it for you, and we can do it in a way that allows you to sort of leverage your investment across lots of different things. So then Google moves into the closing phase, and I think Ben, if you watch that video, which again I highly recommend that you do, one of the things that he talks about is that because you've gone through this whole phase and talked about where they want to be as a business, that he wants more time with his kids, or that I want to get promoted. If you're working with a bigger company, I want to get promoted to the director of marketing or the VP of marketing, and if I can pull this, if I can get our digital strategy in order, then I feel like I'm going to be in a better position to do that. Once you've sort of like established what that person wants and their future objective, and you've linked some of the features and the benefits of the marketing programs you're presenting to those goals, then there may be some objections here. But the idea is that you can oftentimes, because you understand that, you can respond to those objections in a way that links back to some of the desired outcome or desired situation that they're looking for. So, again, their goal is, the way that at least Ben and the Google methodology talks about is to say, listen, clarify, restate that back to them, make sure that what you're saying is actually the real problem, and then, cushion that and respond. And again, I'm not going to go into all this here. Check out the videos, and then there's like the super deep dive that Google has on their YouTube channel as well. And then I think the final thing is, it was interesting, and again, I think the guys in Rochester the people in Rochester can attest to this, that Ben was a super slick sales trainer, had been in the seat that many of us are in for a long time as well. And when asked in this short video here for 30 minutes, what the biggest problem a lot of people have is really is asking for the close. And so, he talks about there's 3 closes we can all use. There's closing a meeting by sort of giving someone an alternative choice. So it's basically, now would you like to meet next Tuesday or Wednesday? So it's sort of an idea that, pick one of those 2. That's the only option you have. The presumptive close, which is like, now let's schedule a meeting with our kickoff. And someone did this the other day. I was evaluating a service, and they used this one on me. And we were literally on the phone, sort of had an agreement of what we wanted to do, and he basically was like, now can I bring my director of operations on the phone to go ahead and do our kickoff call right now? It sounds like we want to get this going for you as soon as possible, which was a great way of like bridging me from sales call right into into the details of the kickoff, which I thought was pretty slick, and I went right with it. And then there's also the direct close, which is to basically ask for the close. And Ben said this is his favorite one, and you guys can check that out too. But again, I think our team really enjoyed this, and we recommend that all of you guys go this route, because being that trusted media advisor is really critical. And some of the other sales tools we're going to talk about today about gathering information, I think relate back to this, because if you can go to a meeting where you're actually bringing valuable information that person and positioning yourself as somebody that is knowledgeable, then you're going to be able to build that relationship that is going to set you up to be able to make that close. Okay, so on to some other things that HubShout has. I want to actually just bounce over to the website really fast and make sure everyone is very familiar with our website and the support section. So under resources, we've got the support section, and actually this is where we post all of our up-to-date information. We have our latest pricing doc. We try to highlight when there's a new one. We also linked over to the webinar that we did on the pricing. So again, if anyone ever has questions on pricing, resources, support, this is the downloadable PDF. You can also, of course, inside the dashboard, see all of the plans available to you along with their definition, with the deliverables that are associated. We've got a lot of how-to guides, but I want to scroll down here into our resources section, because there's a couple areas that I think we all want to make sure that everyone's aware of. Under sell sheets, we have basically, at this point, quite a few sell sheets that we've built over time. I think let's see here, just downloaded the news plan one right here, so I'll just pull it up. It's in Word. And the reason we put this in Word is because we wanted to make it easy for you guys to edit. So, our designers all were very interested in trying to put this into something like Adobe InDesign or some of the other page layout tools, but we intentionally wanted to keep this simple so that you guys could come in here, drop in a logo, change the colors as you would like, be able to change your contact information and make whatever other edits you want. So these are all pretty simple 2-page sell sheets that we've put together on all of our programs. I think there was a question recently about whether or not there was anything on the local SEO plan changes we made. We did, if you go back to our website, we did actually include in the local SEO page the reference to our new Yext partnership. So that is included in this local SEO sell sheet as well here. We made a reference here to Yext. I know some people were looking for some more information. Again, we've actually got a blowout document in the works as well. Eric, do we have any questions at this point that have come up? I know we blew through the Google stuff pretty fast.
Nothing really yet, just a couple to share the links, but past that, we're pretty quiet.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we make sure that that link goes out. We'll post this on our website tomorrow. We'll also include a link to this Google Doc, which I've put hot links to those to that information. So you guys should be able to get that no problem. Okay, so let's bounce back actually to talk about some of our other collateral. So the sell sheets, like, we recommend that these are great when you have a trade show or leave behind after a meeting, a handout for a local presentation. It's always amazing to me, just people want to, especially at trade shows, they just want to pick something up and stick it in their folder, and you do get calls back afterwards. So these are just nice starter points for that. Of course, you may want to add in other custom things that you do, but they're good starting points. We talked about how to edit these, but again, all the documentation is in. We may save it in Word, so that it's very easy for you to edit. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that we do have every month. Ellen, who works on the marketing team, posts the latest search news in our reseller email template library. I'll actually bounce over to a live demo, and we'll take a look at that just so everyone can see this. So what I did is I went to my reseller campaign here, and this is just a demo of VetHubs, but I went into that campaign, I clicked on email, and I clicked on templates, and you'll see that when this campaign is associated with the reseller master, so this would not show up on this would not show up for your end clients. This is only for your reseller master account, but you have the access to the admin library here. And again, we have a lot of different nurture emails we set up so that, and we do keep these up to date. These things are pretty straightforward, so you can actually, they will inherit your branding kind of on demand. So like, for example, if I check this nurture email 1 and I type in make copy of nurture email 1 and save as a new email template, what it does is, again, it grabs it. We know that this is associated with the VetHubs reseller account, so we can actually grab the same logo that you're using for your portal and pop that right in here. So again, it makes it very quick and easy for you to get a private labeled nurture email, and you can use our email marketing platform so that after you do establish contact as another sort of nurture point after you meet, you can send out this drip campaign after you leave the meeting. Go back to the templates real quick. Go to admin library. The other thing I do want to point out is that, again, all of our search news newsletters do go in to this. So for example, here's the most recent search news newsletter. If you wanted a quick way, let's just say that you had you had 500 people on your email list, you only have 10 or 20 active clients, but you just want to be able to send something out on a monthly basis. Again, this newsletter is here for your using. So all you would need to do is go to Search News August 2014. Again, all you have to do is kind of pull this out of the admin library, and we're going to say August newsletter. Save that template, and then blammo, you've got your newsletter for the month, and you can send this right out. Again, this content only goes into the Search News newsletter, so we don't post this on the HubShout site or anything else that HubShout does. So there would not be any way to trace this back if someone was worried. What if I search this sentence? Am I going to find it on the HubShout website? No, you won't. This is for your use. Now, I can't attest to the fact that maybe some of our resellers don't take very similar content, put it on their website. But again, it's for your use, so feel free to use it. Okay, we talked about the search news example. Again, very easy to set up. You do have to have an Amazon SES account. We have tutorial videos on how to set that up. It doesn't take that long. The reason that you have to have an Amazon SES account to send the email is that we've built essentially a mail client that handles building templates and setting up the list and when and who to send the list to. But the underlying delivery, we use Amazon SES. The reason we do that is because if one of our partners decides to try to send it to a really bad list that they bought somewhere and Amazon bans them forever, it doesn't impact everybody else. So basically the key that you get from Amazon is essentially your reputation. So we allow each of our reseller partners to have their own reputation and not potentially be impacted by the guy in the crowd that decides to not follow the proper email marketing approach. In terms of when we recommend sending this, as I recommended, I would certainly send this out to that prospect list you've been developing. Not all of this will automatically go out to your current clients if you have them enrolled in an ongoing marketing plan with us, and will go out private labeled as I just showed a second ago. But for anybody that's not an active client, it's pretty easy to set this up and send it out. And then I already talked about nurture templates. Okay, great. So I wanted to bounce back over to our and talk a little bit about our proposal tool. So many of you guys probably during your initial setup with your account manager, we talk about our proposal tool. And I've recently, again, you've probably seen some of the, we sent out a couple of surveys recently about features that people are using and not using and what their feedback for those are. But I've talked to a number of our resellers, and actually some of the ones that I think are most productive have really gotten into, are using some of these tools to crank out proposals and really using it as we envisioned, and it's working very well for them because they're able to very quickly build a proposal, get that out, and then use that oftentimes as the way to get the next meeting, which is to go in and provide that valuable advice. So let's take a look at the proposal tool, make sure everybody's pretty familiar with how this works. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back to the reseller master account, and that's just my VetHubs account here, and I'm going to click on proposals. And this is actually a list of all of the proposals basically under all of the accounts that are under the VetHubs reseller master account. So just remember our hierarchy is we have a reseller master account, and then there are child accounts underneath that, which typically are your clients or your prospects, and each one of those clients can have one or more campaigns. Usually a campaign is associated with a website. So typically the way that would work is VetHubs is a marketing company. I am dealing with Joe the Vet and Fred the Vet, and then there's fredvet.com and joevet.com. Those are the campaigns that are underneath those accounts. But the first place to stop with the proposal tool is to actually set up your master proposal template. Now in this case, when we have a video on this, I already have a master proposal template, but I just want to pop this open so everyone understands how this works. The master proposal template is a copy of your template that we use every time you create a new one, it copies it from this master proposal template. The reason that's nice is because you can come in and customize this the way you want all your proposals, and that's especially important for things like if you have a description of your company. So if I wanted to edit my description and say that VetHubs is an online marketing firm offering software and services, we've been in business since 2009. I can update that, and now every proposal that I build after this is going to inherit that change. So that's nice, again, because you can spend the time kind of creating your nice template up front, and then it automatically copies going forward. And you have the ability to do that on every one of these other tabs. Even if, for example, let's say that you don't normally offer pay-per-click, it's not going to include the pay-per-click tab in your proposal unless you add that service plan, but you still have the ability to edit the pay-per-click master proposal template so that if at some point in the future you did offer a pay-per-click service plan, it would just pull right from this template. Okay, so let's go in and quickly run through an example. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start by building a new account because you want to put this proposal associated with the lead. So I'm going to use this example, this kind of silly example, but Fred's Vets. Veterinarians. Okay, and it's fredvet.com. Now, I basically at this point, I'm going to add this account. Okay, and now I'm on Fred's Vet Services, and I now have the ability, there's a campaign that's also automatically created. I'm going to go down to that campaign, and I'm going to build a proposal under this campaign. Okay, so I'm just going to call this, SEO plan proposal. And now I'm on this page. I have the ability here to then add in the different service plans that I want. So I'm going to just add in, let's just say he wants an SEO basic, and you can see here that it automatically adds in the premium writer and the PR web upgrade. We'll leave that as is. So then essentially I now can set my retail price, because this will actually, they won't see the wholesale cost when it goes out, they'll just see the retail. So I believe that we essentially kind of roughly double that. So I'm going to say, yep, that looks about right for me. I'm going to leave that exactly how it is. And I want to go in and now edit this proposal. So I'm going to go down and click View Proposal. And you can see here that it just pulled in, even though I just made that change, it went back and grabbed that content from the master proposal template. So now I have the ability to look at this campaign. I can edit this. What I often recommend, especially on like the SEO tab, is when we get into it, I usually recommend that people add a little section here to sort of give you a quick overview of what you think the opportunity is. This is kind of the custom part of the program where I might plug that in. But there was one other important thing that I wanted to bounce back to. And that's the Add Competitive Analysis section. So this is where it's kind of cool. We actually tie this in with our web grader and allow you to pull back some domain stats and other things that are important. So I'm just going to, going to go search for actually a real vet here as my example. So I'll do Orlando. And I'm just going to grab, let's see, the East Orlando Animal Hospital. And I will also grab the Kirkland Road. Okay, and I'm going to click Research URLs. Now, depending on the clients, there are some cases, okay, great, so we got some good stats back. I was going to say sometimes, depending on how small the keywords are, the third-party data provider we use to pull back this data may not always have information. In this case, they do. That's great. So we're going to click through. Okay. So what this is now telling us is this is giving me essentially a rough set of stats on both of them. So the EOAH.com, that for Orlando vets, we're calculating that their traffic is worth about $8,500 a month, and the Kirkland Road, Kirkman Road, their traffic is worth $5,300. And you can then see that we've got a list of the keywords that those two places rank on, and we also have some domain stats that are actually back on the other page. So what I can now do is I can come through here and I can pick some words that maybe I want to try to see if I can rank on. Usually you do it the other way around because this guy actually already ranks. This is like sort of the leader in the area, but I'll just, for example purposes here, we'll just run through this. So you can see that he's number 18 for Orlando Hospital. That's not really relevant. Scan through this. Number 1 on that, East Orlando. Okay, so here's a good one. Emergency Vet Orlando. He's 14, so that's one. Maybe we want to work on that one. And let's see. Oh, here's one that maybe that client, the second one we looked at, the Kirkman Road, they're ranking on exotic animal vet. Again, not a geo-targeted phrase, but we could always geo-target that, Orlando exotic animal vet. So I'm just going to add that one. Let's see here. What else do we have? Here's a good one. Winter Park Animal Hospital. Not sure how close they are to Winter Park, but I want to look at that one because that's potentially one that they should look at. And again, just for the heck of it, Orlando Veterinarians, it says there, and 2 for that, so we'll plug that in there. Okay, so we got a couple keywords, and we want to go back now and look at our proposal again. So if I now click over on the SEO tab, you'll see at the bottom we pulled back. We picked 4 keywords we want to focus on, and we actually now have some domain stats. And then this is where I would take this data and say we did some analysis, some competitive analysis, and we determined that based on other competitors in your market, you are behind on the following stats. So we recommend the following 4, 8, 10, 20, 50 keywords for you to rank on, and here's how we would set that up. So that's a quick overview of the proposal. Now let me back up here and show you then how this works. So we also have our deliverables, which gives us all the stats and the information that you'll be able to see, as well as that investment. So again, this is pulling in from that retail value you selected. And again, I've seen people over here on the bottom part of the screen, they'll actually plug in other add-ons. So if this is the recurring services, but I've seen people in the section below maybe write up some one-time consulting services that they're going to offer and put some prices on that. So there's really a lot of flexibility there. If you want to come in and add other text here, you have that ability with the dashboard or with the proposal tool, and it goes right down there, other text here. So let's still bounce back and just show how this ends up looking. So once I'm done and I'm comfortable with the proposal, I can move this over to active. Now what that's going to do is give me a link that's shareable with my client. So I can click this link and see how it's going to look to my client. So they don't see all the other, in this case I'm logged in, but they wouldn't see all the admin and sales. They just simply see the overview, SEO, deliverables, and investment. So again, we think this is a really good way of building out proposals, and we have a number of resellers who use this religiously, pump out hundreds of proposals, and we think that it keeps them pretty organized. And the nice thing is there's a very quick transition when they do close the business, because we can take that proposal and they can sign the SOW on it, and then we're off to the races. Eric, do we have any other questions? I think that wraps up the content I wanted to cover today.
No, we had a few come in that said this is very helpful, and really besides that, there's questions coming in. Okay,
excellent. So then just a couple reminders that all of the stuff we went through pretty fast, but this is all in those training videos under support. You can also attend our 4 p.m. Daily webinar, which you guys, anybody on their admin screen will see this little icon over here under support. If you click here, it basically is going to, well, I'm not logged in, but if I were logged in, it would take you to the support page where you can then sign up for a daily webinar every day at 4 o'clock. We have our team there. The questions in that session range from really easy things like how do I set up a user and how does that work and what's a client going to see, to fairly complicated technical issues around I need help formatting an email in your email marketing tool. How do I do that? So there's a wide range of things we cover. I think pretty much in all cases we get through most of the topics. If we don't, we can always schedule a follow-up item. And then finally, and of course, feel free to reach out to your account manager if you feel like you need a refresher or any of this. They can point you in the right direction or answer any quick questions you have. So we'll post this up on our website as we always do. I appreciate everyone's time today, and have a great day. Thanks a lot.